at this moment now, we can start the presentations. Who will be the first presenter?
The first presentation presenters will be Kennedy Nduda Mwangi, Bernard Mburu, and Wambui Victor. They will be presenting about e-voting system, I believe. Then after the e-voting, we will have instant voting by Paul and Irene. Meanwhile, those who have not registered, you can register yourself here.
Good morning. We are BCT here too. I'm Bernard.
I'm Kennedy.
I'm Victor Wambui.
We have an on. Our system is about online voting, and this system gives voters the possibility to easily and comfortably fill out and cast out a ballot using the personal computer, smartphone, and actually the idea here is voting virtually, and we can dive it to the functionality. So a user has to register first of all, and for registered user, you'll be able to log in using your username and password, like so. And then if you are an authentic user, you are taken to the home page where you can cast the poll choose the position that you want. Okay, about this system, we decided to mimic the school online the voting activity. Like, we have a school rep, you choose from the one you want to vote and then submit your vote. You can modify your profile, manage your profile, and you can log out from the system. And even if you try to log in again, the cycle continues. At the admin's dashboard, an admin will log in with their email and password, and what the admin will do, the admin will manage the fellow admins, manage position available, candidates, and poll result, like so. Okay, the aim of coming up with such a system is that we want to come up with a corporation, like a corporation that manages election. Like for example, statistics shows in 2017, the government used a whopping 117 million in doing that voting exercise. And if at the time we had our system was in place, that system could have saved about 50 to 60% of the money that was used. And again, our system is effective and time saving. Like the other day you saw the NAT doing the election, like they were doing it in person. And if we had this system, just imagine a person coming from Nakuru just come to Bomas of Kenya to vote. You see, that guy has to use there is a transport cost and hospitality, all those things. Our system is capable of reducing such costs. And another thing, our system will reduce paperwork, of course, and it will reduce the staff involved.
Let's applaud them. I believe they have made. Let's applaud them. So we're inviting questions to the presenters. Questions from the congregation. As they are thinking, I have two questions. I'm sorry if you explained, but I never want them. The first thing that I'll be concerned as a user of your system will be about data protection. You know that most systems, they are being attacked. What measures are being put to mitigate that threat?
Okay, first of all, as a developer, you should never trust a user when entering data. You see, like this, like here, when users are logging in, that data they are putting, you can find a user who is talented. They can just do cross-site scripting. And to do that, of course, when a user tries to do like XSS with Google, that one might never happen. But using other browsers, there is a way that we have binded our variables, if I may say that. Whatever the user is entering, it should be valid. Like there is a way. There is a firm way that we have done with our variables to capture that. So there is nothing like XSS or whatever that can be done to our system.
Another question is, if you are going to trust what are you saying to enter, then politicians will go manipulate the population and the census guide and create many IDs. And a lot of the IDs, they will enter those details into your system and they will do what? And they will get access and have more votes to their advantage. So I'm asking, like, is there another alternative way, like let's say the fingerprint, because you know that fingerprints are unique to individuals, or just like for somebody to enter?
So what our system is doing here, it is collecting data from the database, such that when you register, for example, the IBC, we come with our system, we integrate our system into a database, we combine them, such that when the user is logging in, it is collecting data from the database. And on security, that the user may be, if you have a smartphone, it will have a mechanism that maybe when you are logging in, you should use your username, password, and maybe for verification, the print.
Yeah, and to add on that, when a user is logging in, when you enter your username and password, when they match, you are given like 30 seconds to verify if it's you. Like for example, if you are having a smartphone or a laptop, you will be sent an email. Of course, there are those who will be using Kayo's phone. You'll be sent a code and a link. Like you verify that code, it's really you, before you gain access to the home page so that you can do all that stuff.
Okay. Maybe one final question before I ask this question. We know that the reason why we come up with ideas is to gain at the end of the day and maybe solve a problem. Actually, it's solving a problem then we gain. I am not get clearly how you just gain from the idea.
Oh, this is what we said. Like, take a look at election 2017. The government used, okay, our aim is not just to build an online system where our school will be voting online. We intend to make this one big. Like for example, if in that 2017 we were the guys who are conducting the election, just imagine being given $117 million. You see, we said like we are saving the money and in turn gaining money. Like for example, this system could have saved about 7 billion. Out of that money, it could have saved 7 billion. And converting that 117 million, that's 12 billion also. It could have saved 7, and then the rest, we get it as a token of appreciation.
Can I challenge you?
Okay.
Imagine 10 million people each buying 10 MBs. 10 million people each buying 10 MBs. For that day is at least, actually 10 MBs for like a smartphone cannot be enough even to vote for one person. So can you imagine like 10 million people are buying 10 MBs at let's say 5 shillings, you see. And from that, at the end of the day, you find that you are spending almost the same as what you're trying to do what? To save. So it's a good idea. However, think of how you will synchronize it to be more secure, more applicable. Thank you.
Okay, I have a couple of questions. Do you have a prototype with you, or
Yeah.
it is still right there?
We have a product.
We got it.
You have it.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it protected, like patented or copyrighted?
Yeah, it's protected.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Then your system is basically online.
Yeah.
How are you going to take care of my grandma back at home using those other phones?
Okay. We have put in place OTP. Like maybe in any SIM card, they can dial just a simple code and vote. First verify if they are, for those guys who using Kayo's phone, they dial the OTP code, they verify if they are registered or they are authentic users, and then they gain access to it.
Who are your customers?
Of course, it everywhere done
In institutions,
Okay, who is the user of your system?
everyone who have, maybe, for example, if we take a case study here in Meru University, our users are the student. Maybe in organization where they held the election, our users are the employee. So basically, it's like everywhere there is an election and you are eligible to vote.
Okay. So why do I need your system? And how will you gain from me after I have acquired your system or your app?
Number one, you know you say in Kenya most people are hard to mouth. So there is when you get our system, instead of you the whole day lining up in a line just to cast your vote, you can just vote at the comfort of your maybe working place anytime.
Okay. And how would you gain from it?
Of course, the system is not free. Like we said, we intend to out of this, we don't just intend to make a just system and just give it out. We are a corporation, and you have to hire somebody to get the service. Like our service is like manage your election. Like take a look at our school. We usually waste a whole day just going there, voting. A whole day it's wasting all that time. So, and this is a school of science and technology. Why don't we have a system where like education is still going on and you can still vote? You get?
Thank you.
Maybe some two more questions.
Okay.
What backup do you have for your system? Let's say on the material day, there's a blackout. There's a blackout in most parts of the country, as it happens sometimes. And sometimes, we know our phones can only last, let's say, for 24 hours, and the charge dies. How? What mechanism have you put in place to act as a backup?
So maybe we can say that maybe for it's online, eh? So the moment maybe there is a backup, with online you don't need that the paperwork maybe to go for. So we can put a mechanism that it can last maybe for a day or maybe plus you can't last your day even for sure. I know that you can't last a day without maybe if your phone is dead and you want to accomplish something, you do that before it is switched off.
And again, to add on that, in that database, maybe let's say we had the voting exercise was like it was scheduled at 7, and then it was like we scheduled it to last for 7 hours, and then at 10 it failed. So like everything went offline. You see, people can't vote. We have put like there is a graph that will show that, and again at the database we've recorded somewhere like so and so had voted this time. So even if that person goes again and he had voted in the morning thinking that they can vote again, they can never do that. Like there is a mechanism. I hope you can understand what I'm
There is another question. So basically, if someone doesn't have a phone, they will not vote.
Yeah.
Plus we are we are in a technology world now. Everything is technology. Plus nowadays phone are very cheap. You can afford a phone even with allowed 1,000. So everyone, we are in a technology world now. Everyone want to be updated. So even maybe in basis of percentage, maybe it's a very few percentage that doesn't have. Plus when it is physical, not everyone that participate.
Yes.
Before I ask my final question, let Madam ask a question.
Thank you, guys. I think your process of thinking is good. However, there are a few things you need to clarify. and also give solutions, as in you want to bridge the gap in voting system. Like friends and colleagues have alluded, is that when it comes to voting, majority of people will not have phones, especially in rural areas. People share phones. Don't live like you live in America. We are in Kenya. We come from the villages, and we know one phone in the village is used by 5,000. So what you should be bringing in your hub is a scenario whereby at least the database is able to recognize some unique codes or some unique numbers, just that people can vote even using one phone, but they're different individuals. That's one item. Then the capacity of your hub. How many people can it accommodate at a given time? Because now you want to upscale it or escalate it to the bigger population. We are talking of Meru University, maybe the summer elections, right? Now, let's go to county elections. Let's go to national elections. Because that's the big picture you should be seeing in terms of your application. So, do you have those things in place or in your database?
Okay, to start with the first issue. You have said when you are logging in, you will be required to enter your details. So, and after that, you will be given a code in which you are going to verify that it's you who is voting. So, even if someone comes and he doesn't have a phone, he'll just log in. He'll just follow the process. So he'll be given another code just for himself, because in Kenya everybody has an ID, different ID numbers. So if you are using, for example, use the ID numbers. When you enter your ID number, it is not related to your phone. So that person will vote, because it is not the phone which is voting. It is you are given a session personally. You are given a session where you vote. So for those who do not have phones, there is no way that you can say in a whole village. You cannot say that you are able, even if you don't have a phone, your friend has a phone, you can go there and vote. Okay, to come to Meru now, our case study, we are saying, okay, first of all, we wanted to implement it in technological institutions like Meru here. But now, if you implement it here, everybody, and if your phone has failed, you can come here. That's why we have the labs and whatever. You can go there and vote. They can allow you. And to add on about backup, most institutions have a backup generators and whatever. Our institution has a generator whereby when power fails, there's always like 5 minutes, then the generator is up. So if your phone is not charged, you can charge it. Vote.
There's a question.
Okay, you've said that your system can be used by students, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a student, and I have an account in the system. What criteria are you using to ensure that my data is secure, my information is secure?
So what is the, so that's why we are saying that we are taking, so maybe Mary University hires for, takes our system for an election. We don't come with database. We integrate our system with their database. So it will collect information from the database. And the information you have already, the information they have is the same, maybe username, you use the same username and password to log in to voting.
Okay, so you fetch data from the school database?
Yeah.
One final question. Here's a question.
Mine is more of a compliment. You bring a good I like the idea, and it's right for this time of COVID.
Yeah.
You know, like when during this period, not many people would want to walk and queue to vote. Many will shy off. So what I would want you to do, like when you're starting, I don't know what your first slide is. What is your first slide? Your first slide.
Is highlighting what we have talked about the content.
It's about the content.
Yeah.
Supposing you started with a problem. That way you capture people. This is a problem we are solving. Like we are giving the electoral commission an alternative. It can be an alternative to what they already have, such that as a voter, I can decide to be online, to do online voting or go and queue. And that way, once you know the problem, you also need to find out, is this problem big enough to make money for me? Because all you're after is making money for the organization. So you have to be clear who your customer is at the beginning. Who is my customer? Will this customer be able to pay me? Supposing you say your customer is electoral commission. Those are the ones who are, because you have to integrate your data, your system, your software with the data. So that should be your customer. That is my thinking. I could be wrong. That should be your customer.
Yeah.
So will you sell that to them, to the electoral commission, for you to make money? Or will it be me as a user? You need to sell it to you. So in short, be very clear about who the customer is. So you do the problem, then you do the solution. What is it you want? Then who are my customers? You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Let it flow. It will be easier for people to follow.
Yeah.
Because now we have to listen to all of it for us now to be able to ask the questions we ask.
Oh, yeah.
And that way we'll have less questions. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Guys, it's good.
Thank
I
you.
like it.
One final question. As somebody who has participated in the elections in 2017,
Yeah.
like I was paid to officiate elections. With your system, it means that I'll be losing my income. How have you taken care of actual and men teachers gain in that exercise? So how do you take care of that?
Okay, first of all, you see even that the revenue you are getting is season.
It is
will
just
not be
for one
there.
day.
It's just for one day. And anyway, we are oriented like, okay, assuming you had a company and you are paying like 100 employees, and let's say that maybe for 1 year you pay more money than you get. What do? You develop a system to at least slash the number of employees, and like let's say the clash your work. If you develop a system to just do the clash your work and slash the number of employees. Okay, the main system here is to reduce our system will reduce the staff work, and out of that our system will be saving a good number of bucks in return, and in return it will be making some good amount. I hope you get what I mean.
Another question?
Mine is not much a question, but I like your idea with it. It's good. And maybe I can say to something I have maybe to add on that is you can think of it like this, not completely eliminating the current voting system at once.
Yeah.
That is surely something so big to do at once.
Yeah.
But if you think of your system in a way that it will integrate the two, such that if you vote online, you can't vote physically. And then from that point, the idea, see, progressively you can go shifting from one form of voting to the other, because actually we cannot escape the reality, because reality beats us many times. So we need to go with the reality as well. Many people may not like the idea at first, which is always okay, even if they don't like it. But what if there are those people who like doing things online? Like we are educated, we have seen things, and we like to do things even from the comfort of our homes. So basically, you can be sure there are people who like your system. They don't need to go and queue at the chief station or maybe somewhere else to vote. So they will vote from their homes, and the moment you vote from your home, there is an update everywhere that so and so voted. So even if you go physically, you can't vote again. Like it's just like so. Think of it like integrating the two, so that you go shifting from one to the other.
Okay, and to add on that, our software engineering teacher taught us that, that will come under software testing. Like you can decide, like for example what you are saying, we can decide to do the parallel way. Like you don't just eliminate it, we do it parallel way, like we use the two. Okay, that one is.
Yeah, that would accommodate everyone,
Yeah.
including somebody who doesn't know how to vote with a smartphone or doesn't have it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That one is good.
There's a question here.
Not a question really, but I just want to, maybe it's a piece of advice. It's a good idea, but now you are targeting the institution, but maybe in one way or the other you will be in need of expanding the idea. But now you are going to, let me say you are going to fetch the data from the school database. But now we're going now outside. Where will you get the data of registered voters? And how are you going to now again register those who will be able to vote during the voting season? Because now it will be easy for you to fetch data from the school database when the system will be accepted. Now you are going outside. Now the national elections. We have counties. How will you get the data of everybody who is, number one, is a registered citizen, maybe by birth or by registration, who are maybe they are able to vote? How